So about a year ago, Eiji Aonuma, Legend of Zelda series director, was at a concert performance for Nintendo Live in Japan, and he came out on stage and asked, "I know what you're waiting for. Skyward Sword for Switch?" And then the crowd was like, meh. Turns out they were never actually planning it, and it could have been a way of testing the waters to see if people wanted Skyward Sword on the Switch. If you don't know, Skyward Sword is known as the worst main series Zelda game among the fanbase, despite its overwhelmingly positive reviews. Anyways, after hearing about these rumors again, I got to thinking, how could Nintendo turn Skyward Sword on the Switch into something good? Let's start with why the game is fucking terrible.
Don't fuck with me! I have the power of God and anime on my side! Wait,
Let's start with one of the apparently divided arguments when it comes to Skyward Sword. It's about the motion controls. That's right, kids, you get to control Link's sword one-to-one with the Wii Motion Plus accessory. Now you can look like a badass by swinging the Wii Remote without any real intentions of strategy. Like I said, this is apparently a point of contention within the discussion of this game, and with my experiences, it's worked fine and other times it's worked terribly. The argument for the motion controls state that it adds another layer to combat in certain boss fights. A layer of garbage. If you look at the Zelda game before this, Twilight Princess, you can see that they were building up to some more advanced swordplay in Zelda with the Golden Wolf stuff. Instead of keeping what they were trying to create, they threw it out the window for stick waggling. So no, I really don't think the motion controls add anything exciting to Skyward Sword, other than frustration. Let me start with the statement that just because a game is linear does not mean that it's bad. But when a game gives the illusion of being a wide open world full of exploration, and it turns out just to be a railroad ride, then it starts to be bad. Exploration is what makes an adventure game an adventure. Otherwise, it's just not. In the first Zelda, all you do is explore. There's absolutely no one to tell you where to go or what to do. In Wind Waker, you travel to a bunch of islands and sail the ocean looking for treasure and Triforce pieces. In Breath of the Wild, the world is open and you just have at thee. Now, some of you may be thinking, most 3D Zeldas before Breath of the Wild are still pretty linear. And you're actually correct with this, but here's what separates good 3D Zeldas from Skyward Sword. Even within the linear segments, there are things you can do that act like a nice little distraction. Off the top of my head, for example, is in Ocarina of Time. When you go up to Zora's domain as a child, there's these little bean holes and this guy that's munching on beans. So you get some rupees, buy his beans, and plant those bitches. At the time you have no clue what it does, but hey, at least that was a neat little distraction. And then bam, you come back as an adult and you could ride those beans all willy-nilly. In Skyward Sword, you're trapped in little tiny provinces and you go from point A to point B. Seriously, there's absolutely nothing to do in these worlds but the main objective. I'ma roll this log so that when I have to come back here for the 17th time, I don't have to work all the way around. I could just go in a straight line. There's no deeper feeling of reward than just, yay, me go faster. There's no, gee, I wonder what these magical beans are for. I sure hope I'm not wasting my money or becoming part of a drug organization feeding this man's addiction. Nintendo is famous for what's known as Nintendo polish. Their games have a reputation of being extremely detailed and clean. You know, polished. And it's not that Skyward Sword runs bad or looks bad, it's just there's a sense of less heart and soul. For example, in Twilight Princess, you could do this little flip with your sword if you press A at the right time after a battle. Whoa, would you look at that? Ain't that cool? That the devs put that in? That's pretty cool, yeah? Skyward Sword don't even come close to that level of detail. Instead of beans and flips, we get logs and this. Hell, what happened to towns or villages or something to just go, hey, what's this over here? Is there something I could do here to distract me from saving the world for just a couple of seconds? You know, that feeling of, oh, I know the main thing is down this path, so what's down this other path? Nope. None of that here. just Fee telling you the probability of you turning off the console and crying yourself to sleep. Speaking of Fee...
Not detecting any additional dowsing responses in the area.
Yeah, I know. They said there were 3 and I found them all.
I suggest you go speak with the Kikwi Elder.
I know, he told me to speak with him after I found all 3 of them.
Oof, boy, this game holds both your hands. And your feet. And just drags you along.
Yeah, Fee is annoying. In her defense, she is interesting as a story character, but in terms of gameplay, she really embodies everything people hate about Navi. In the span of like 20 minutes, she'll talk to you about what you're doing 3 times. And no, I'm not making that up. That's for real. Let me breathe for a second, woman! When you talk to an NPC that tells you exactly where to go, guess who bloops right out of your sword immediately afterwards to repeat exactly what that NPC just told you? Hey Fee? I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, but I'm not that fucking stupid. I may have burnt my ego this morning, but I don't need you to babysit me. And that's really what Fee is. A glorified tour guide who's done the tour for too long and gets pissed off when people try to go and learn more. Don't do other shit, massa. We gotta go, go, go. This game is like 40 hours. Wait, this game is like 40 hours? Look, it's just like the linear thing. Just because a game is long doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, I myself have sank 200 hours into Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, and I'm still playing it. Those games don't really end if you don't want them to, and there's something to be said about a game like that just steals your time without even asking, and you don't even care. What that thing is to be said, I don't fucking know. I'm getting distracted. My point is, Skyward Sword is way too long. And this wouldn't be a problem if the formula was designed for the game to be long, but it's not. It's a gameplay loop of about 3 hours and you get sick of it after 15. You're just going from here to there to find someone or something just so you could do it all over again, rinse and repeat. Sounds like busy work, right? Of course it does, and no one wants to be doing busy work for 40 fucking hours. There is a part in this game where you swim around collecting tadpole music note things, because I guess this dragon can't remember a song? Doesn't that just make you go, you're fucking kidding me, right? What purpose does this serve other than to pad out the game? It's there so you have to explore Faron Woods yet again, but this time it's underwater. Sounds just about as fun as it is. There's nothing to explore when there's no real points of interest in this world. That's all this game really does, just reuse their 3 provinces that have nothing in them. This might have been fun if there was anything to do in these provinces, but no, they're super linear, remember? And don't even get me started on stamina. It exists solely to slow you down. You can't just run from point A to point B, you have to walk run. In Breath of the Wild, stamina serves a purpose as it gives a sense of progression. I can't climb up this whole tower in one go, yet. In Skyward Sword, there may be one instance where stamina is used as a mechanic rather than to pad out the game. By the way, you fight the same boss 3 times in this game, and if that's not padding, I don't know what is. Are there more reasons why people don't like this game? Absolutely. These points can be elaborated on and on with tons of examples. Tons of examples that I'm not going to show you because I'm lazy and can't craft a good argument. Wait, no, not that. Because I'm going to elaborate on them more later. Remember, we're trying to make a good Skyward Sword remake. So without further ado, let's get into Part 2. Fucking Christ. I mean, like, parts of this game are kind of cool, I guess. I don't know.
Not.
I love Zelda's design in this game. Moreover, I love the relationship we're shown between her and Link. In the excruciatingly long intro to this game, we're shown that Link and Zelda clearly have a romantic relationship, and it's fucking adorable. It's kind of what we've always wanted, but never really got from Zelda games before. And I know I just complained about how excruciatingly long that intro is, but it does serve a purpose in that it shows us how cute these two are together. Near the end of the intro, Zelda is blown away down into the surface world, just before she's about to confess her love to Link. Oh shit, you say? I gotta help her. She's my forever girl, I gotta save her. And then you go down to the surface and chase these Kikwi things for about an hour. Besides her relationship to Link, Zelda also has a character arc, which I think is pretty important when it comes to linear games. She evolves from this confused girl to this strong woman who has to fulfill her duty as the reincarnation of God or whatever. No, I'm not making that up. She's like the reincarnation of God or whatever. That's awesome. Is this a redundant point? Probably. We all know that Zelda games have beautiful music, and this game is no exception. In this game, the music serves an important purpose as it helps reinforce the themes of the story. Check it. In that intro scene when we're love-birding it up with Zelda, this romance theme plays and it fits beautifully. That swell just gives me chills. Seriously, go listen to the whole song right now. It's called Romance Theme. There's also Romance in the Air, which is a very similar track. Another beautiful track that helps enforce the narrative elements of this game is the Gate of Time song. It's a somber tune that first appears when you have to set out on your journey. It tells you that it will be a long and harrowing one, but there is hope from the snare drums telling you to march on. It appears again when you learn that you're only temporarily sealing the darkness. And it's sad because you have to fight the goddamn in prison 3 times, but those drums just keep telling you to march, damn it! This Zelda game uses music in a different way than others. Music is used as a storytelling aid, and that's pretty impressive.
Cloud, become a square shape, Cloud. Cloud, become a square shape, turn into a square shape, Cloud. Turn into a square shape, Cloud.
So I told you how this game has 3 provinces where all the dungeons and main story takes place and why they suck. But Skyward Sword also has an extremely interesting hub world, Skyloft. Skyloft is everything that the provinces should have been. There's tons of quirky NPCs and pretty fun side quests, not to mention you could just fly to any island you want. There's an island with the pumpkin tavern, an island with the samurai dude, a clown. There's a side quest where you could give a ghostly hand from the toilet a love letter to use as toilet paper. There's a side quest where you vacuum some musty bitch's house. There's a side quest where you give a weak scrawny boy steroids. What's not to love about all of these? Skyloft is the land of fun in this game. It's the polar opposite to all of those provinces. Let me give a Kikwi steroids, goddammit. Skyloft has so much character to it, and once again shows how good the rest of the game could have been. Peanut Butter Gamer has a video called Why We Love Skyward Sword, and it mainly focuses on how great the narrative elements in this game are. Go check it out if you want to hear more praise about this game. I wholeheartedly agree with what he says. The story elements are wonderful. But here's the thing about story in video games. There's always players who don't care at all about the story in a game, and that's that. Skyward Sword especially fights an uphill battle in that I don't think most people come into a Zelda game for an amazing story. They want an adventure, and frankly, Skyward Sword doesn't offer enough adventure. But a remake could. That's right, it's time for part 3. Skyward Sword on the Switch? Oh boy! So let's make it clear, we're trying to restructure Skyward Sword for the Switch. Not just Skyward Sword HD. We'll call it Skyward Sword Reimagined. But at the same time, we're not trying to entirely reinvent the game. In other words, because A, we want to preserve the good parts of this game, B, I'm a lazy piece of shit, and C, I am stupid and actually don't know how to make a video game, I'm making this easier on myself. So let's start. First things first, I guess we should address those motion controls. Throw them out. That is all. Next, let's drop in on that first area I keep complaining about, Farron Woods. First of all, let's do a quick redesign on the map. No more of these straight up blocked off paths. Let's get a little more open with it. Maybe something like this. Along with the open layout, we need to add things to do so we can incentivize exploration. It doesn't matter if the map is open if there's still nothing to do in it. Here's where we can take a page, or maybe a whole fucking chapter, from Breath of the Wild. You see, Breath of the Wild's world is alive. I mean, it's part of the reason why it's called Breath of the Wild. Add some foxes and deer. This is a forest after all. Add some critters and plant life to gather potions or whatever. have a Kiwi get ambushed by some moblins when you're walking by so we have a chance to save him. Maybe he can tell you something about Zelda or other forest secrets. Don't forget what I said about Skyloft either. Give the Kiwis some character. Hell, even a house to live in would be enough. Give one of them a side quest where he's like, "Holy shit, the elder is a fat piece of lard. Do you think you could help me make a potion so he could lose some goddamn weight?" Boom, now you have some reason to explore the forest, care a teensy bit about the Kiwis, and hey, maybe if you do this side quest, the Kiwi can give you recipes for other potions. Wow! Doesn't that sound fun? There's other things to do in this goddamn forest now. Anyways, the plan with an open layout is that we could drop in anywhere on the map when we come down from the sky. Wouldn't that be awesome? Instead of these tablet things just creating a tiny little portal down to the surface, how about it just opens up the whole province? Let's say you drop right smack dab in the middle of the forest. Fee, who we're gonna make super useful instead of annoying, pops out and says, "Massa! I said Zelda has been here. She came from the south and headed north. I also sense the presence of a native village to the southwest." The whole line contains so much information. You can go south towards Impa's palace or whatever if you want to learn where she's been, maybe stumble upon some of those people that saw her, or you can go straight to where she was going. So let's talk about dungeons. I actually really like the ones in Skyward Sword. Some people say they're a bit too easy, but I'm the type of guy who can't solve a Rubik's Cube to save his life, so I think they're a-okay. I want to talk about less about the dungeons themselves, but instead how we get into them. With our new open map, what's to stop you from going straight into the dungeon? Well, nothing, but we could keep this hangy crystal thing that you shoot with a slingshot to open up the door. With the game being super linear, this kind of felt like just jumping through a hoop, because you already have the slingshot, so it's like, I gotta pull out the dumbass slingshot and shoot the dumb glowy crystal because Lonk is too fucking stupid to jump. But let's say you come across the dungeon and don't have the slingshot. Now it's more like, Lonk is too stupid to jump, so I need to find something that can hit the glowy crystal. In this situation, I feel that it's a bit more like a puzzle and makes you explore the woods. Now we can rework the fetch quest that the Kiwi Elder gives us. Instead of, "I'm fat, go farm my villagers and I'll give you a thing you need to progress," it could be more like, "Hey, my villager's missing. If you help them, they might have information on where the secret treasure is that you need to progress." In the second example, helping the Elder is optional, but helpful. If you really wanted to, you could explore the forest enough and figure out some puzzle and just get the slingshot without ever having to talk to the Kiwis. Woo! Exploration! So now, the final thing I have to address is when you return to these areas. To explain, the first time you go to an area is to get one of these stone tablets. The second time is for when you do a sacred trial and douse your sword in a sacred flame. And the third time you have to talk to the area's local dragon to learn part of a song. To go into more detail, during the second visit you do a trial, and then you get an item to progress to the next section. And in Farron specifically, you meet up with the water dragon. But she's a bitch and she wants you to get her some special water infused with diamonds or whatever before you go into the actual dungeon where the flame is. What you end up having to do is leave, go to Eldon, get some water from over there, come back up into the sky, go back to Farron, and then return to the dragon with her fucking water. Hey, editor's note here. Sorry for the bad audio, but turns out I was wrong. What you actually have to do is you have to go to the first temple in the game and replay it in its entirety. So, you figure out which is worse. So yeah, there's a term for what this is in gaming, where you have to like do some bullshit. It's on the tip of my, what's the term? Oh yeah, fucking retarded. Geo golly oh gosh, I can't wait to see what's next in the epic water boy adventures of Link. Anyways, let's talk about how we fix it. With our patented open map layout, you should be able to come down to the lake on your first visit, and you should be able to go underwater without the need of a magic item. You should be able to go right up to the water dragon's palace for the sake of exploration, and then when you get there, she could be like, "You are not worthy, young water boy. Return to me when you have proved yourself to the gods," or some shit. And then later, you learn how to do the sacred trial, you get a special item to prove you're worthy, and then boom jams, now you can go into the dungeon. This way, we don't have to cut off an entire section of the map from the beginning. You could just go there. You don't need to, but you can. Who knows what could be there? A whole ass fucking dragon is pretty interesting. In all honesty, I think the whole premise of returning to the same area 3 times is kinda dumb. I'd even go as far as to call it lazy. And that's why we're not going to return to the same place 3 times. Fuck learning the song, it's just more padding. No one really cares. Is this a cop-out for me? Probably, but I'm done with what I wanted to change. Is it the best game ever? Probably not. Is it better than what it was? I sure fucking hope so, otherwise you just wasted insert length of video listening to me pull straight up dookie diarrhea out of my asshole. So let me leave you with these closing remarks. The whole reason for me making this video wasn't because I hate Skyward Sword. As a matter of fact, it was the first Zelda game I played. Crazy, right? I thoroughly enjoyed it as a kid, but then when I came back to it after playing what Zelda was supposed to be, it just left a weird taste in my mouth. All that nostalgia was destroyed, but I still wanted to love it, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. It was a game that was released on the 25th anniversary of Zelda. It needed to capture the entirety of the feeling of Zelda, but it didn't. If there's anything I want you to take away from this long drawn out conversation with myself, it's this. Want a Skyward Sword remake. Nintendo has shown us with the Switch generation that they aren't afraid to change their formulas, and I'm confident we would be pleasantly surprised by what they create. Hey, thanks for watching this video. It's been a while, hasn't it? Like, 2 years? Oh, Jesus. Anyways, I kinda wanna start doing more stuff. Maybe more stuff like this video? I don't even have to talk about video games, I can talk about movies, TV shows, anime, porn, So if you enjoyed, leave a like and a comment, let me know what you want to see. And if you don't want to see anything, just tell me that too. Who cares? I actually have plans for some sort of live action show down the road, but that's probably far in the future. So, share this video with your friends if you want, and have a good day. Happy Zelda Month!